Like a kind of a zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, at the moment they've developed a contact lens that can give you a 3 times zoom.
Med hjälp av ny teknik och uppfinningar så kan soldater bli en slags supermänniskor. Och i och med det så behöver vi ju faktiskt tänka på våra lagar och hur de ser ut. Och en som forskar på det är Heather Harrison Dinniss.
Hey!
Hey! How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So it's not quite like the films, although it's moving that way. When we're talking about enhanced humans, we're talking about the use of biochemical enhancers, so pharmaceuticals or drugs, to make soldiers perform better in the field, to be able to stay awake for longer, which means that a soldier can exist on less sleep, which means they have more time that they're able to complete their mission. That's particularly important for pilots.
Yeah.
So that's something that's currently in use at the moment. There's also, in development, there are people who are looking at ways of making wounds heal faster. So that's one field, biochemical enhancement. The next sort of field would be cybernetic. So here we're talking brain-machine interfaces.
Cybernetic.
Using your mind to control objects. This is electrodes either implanted in your brain or less invasively on your skull. Electrodes on your skull and kind of a funky skull cap thing. The other sort of broad category that you can look at is prostheses. And we're not just talking about replacement limbs, we're talking about optical prostheses.
In the eyes?
In the eyes. So something that can be inserted that could give you long range vision.
Like a kind of a zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, at the moment they've developed a contact lens that can give you a 3 times zoom. So.
This is like you telling me sci-fi that's not sci-fi because it's reality.
It's reality, so, yeah. So what I do is I look at the law that we have, and then I look at the technology that's developing, and I think about the impact of that law on new technologies. I am the worst possible person to go and watch a science fiction film with, because I will be sitting there analysing the entire thing from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
My role, as I see it, is to be part of that dialogue with science.
Yeah.
To say, here is new technology which is really cool and exciting, but have you thought about these issues, so that we think carefully about the steps that we're taking and whether that's a road we want to pursue, and if it is a road we want to pursue, what kind of regulation might there be around that. We have this body of law called the law of armed conflict that will apply to these technologies when they're applied, but also human rights law. I mean, don't forget that for the most part we're applying these technologies to our own soldiers rather than to the other side. So here we're dealing with the rights of our own citizens, and certainly one of those rights is not to be experimented on. One of the studies I alluded to earlier sort of said, well, perhaps we should consider registering enhanced humans as weapons. We could call them biological weapons. The problem is, if you start saying that this person is no longer a person, they are a weapon, then suddenly you change their status on the battlefield. On the battlefield, if you capture the enemy's weapons, whether it's a tank or a gun or whatever, you are perfectly entitled to pick up that weapon and use it yourself. The ownership of it transfers automatically to your side under the law of what's called booty. You can take it as war booty. On the other hand, if you capture a person, it is a war crime to force that person to fight for your side. So they had no conception of sort of the knock-on effect of changing the law. So one needs to be very careful when you're thinking about it, sort of saying, oh, well, we could call them a weapon, but actually that has a very serious effect on what you can do with that person.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heather.
You're very welcome.
For letting me visit you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.